everybody. Welcome to The Banished Zone, the show about flesh and blood that is heavy. Because it is heavy hitters time. It's heavy, Doc.
Look, I put on a little weight, but like, come on, that's fucked up.
There's nothing wrong with being heavy.
It's big boned, okay?
Or big boned.
I am 6'6", all right?
Are you really 6'6"?
A lot of weight comes. I'm like 6'5.5".
Tall man.
I round up or round down depending on how confident I'm feeling on any given day.
I'm 6'4" today.
I'm only 6'2".
This is I'm Bryn.
Mm-hmm.
You can follow me on Twitter at BanisHedZone. That's Chris.
That's correct.
He's at Blue Plunderun, and this is our friend David Sitrick.
Hello.
His Flesh and Blood Twitter is OL_Sitrick. You can figure out how to spell that at the end of the episode.
Sitrick.
Sitrick.
There you go.
Yeah.
Sit right.
Don't sit right.
So, we are having a nice guest on the show. Who knows how many times we'll do this with Sitrick?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe more. Who knows? Mm-hmm. Not the point. The point is that that Heavy Hitters is coming out, and what do you call it? We're in a movie theater right now. I'm having to pull over the car to talk to
I was saying
Sitrick.
before we started recording, I feel like I'm chaperoning Chris and Bryn's date.
You're making sure we don't
dare make out.
Yeah, this is
a roller coaster of love, but it's PG love.
But we are on a roller coaster to spoiler season.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm trying to get this ball rolling much sooner than usual because sometimes we vamp at the beginning of these episodes, and it's always a mistake.
That's true. Yeah, I don't know why we're filling time. It's our own show.
We're like, okay, I have this sense of like...
I'm sorry, did you bring me in to make the show more focused? Because that's not going to happen. I'm sorry.
No, we're going to talk about Flesh and Blood.
No, I'm just saying that for some reason, I'm so used to doing podcasts where it's like, all right, 15 minutes of stretch it out.
Yeah.
Let's get some funnies inside. Let's get warmed up.
Yeah.
But that's what happens is an hour 45 of talking
we have so
about
much to
cars.
say, yeah. Because one of us gets on a rant, and then I'm like,
specifically you.
Yeah, one of us named me goes on a rant.
Your eyeballs roll back in your head, and you're like, let me tell you every statistic about every car.
Excuse me while I go on a 10-minute tangent about an inside joke from a different podcast. How about...
Yeah, let's do that. Let's talk about Bing chilling.
When are we gonna get Bing chilling on a Flesh and Blood car? When are they gonna? They banned ice, so they banned Bing chilling.
That's
basically,
no more Bing chilling.
Not allowed.
It's unfortunately outlawed.
Flesh and Blood no longer loves Bing chilling.
Okay, so let's get right into it. We haven't talked about heavy hitters since I think only Kasai was announced and a couple of the commons and rares.
Yeah, at Worlds, I think she was announced. We talked about that.
And there was the Majestic expansion slots.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So we talked about those, but
Old news.
Almost all of the new heroes we haven't mentioned. Now, the thing is, nobody cares about what we think. So we don't have to go too in depth about every single hero, and everybody is doing this already. So let's see what we can talk about.
You're saying put our own spin on it.
Yeah,
see what we bring to the table.
Say some wild shit. See what happens.
Okay. Interesting approach.
Don't really do that.
To the
but
podcast.
I do think we haven't talked.
I'm sitting here, rubbing my hands together like a raccoon in an Instagram story about to get fed a strawberry. Just like,
Can't wait to say some wild shit about Betsy, skin in the game.
Speaking of raccoon, it looks like a raccoon like scratched her belly, right? Like
a
or
raccoon
bear.
that's like the size of a mountain.
They're big in Wraith, okay? They're bigger.
Big meep. Betsy skin in the game is all of the heroes are 4 intellect, 40 life, which I'm disappointed in. I always like when they move it around a little bit.
Okay. I feel like they only move it around for like specific reasons. If they're like, we're doing something a little bit broken, so we want to give it, just turn it down a little bit.
I was gonna say that's a signpost to me that is just sort of like, none of these heroes are overpowered.
They're all normal, doing normal stuff.
But she does have overpower. It says whenever an attack you control wagers, you may pay 2. Like Bravo. If you do, the attack gets +1 and overpower. Now, a lot of people are like, overpower isn't as good as dominate, and that's true, but +1 is very good. And a lot of people just say that. They say, oh, +1's good. But I want you to think about Ira and how Ira just says +1 on her hero, and it was broken.
It's a little broken, yeah.
Very good.
It's way too good.
How annoying CNC for 7 is.
Yeah, you can wager a CNC, theoretically. There's a couple cards that do it already, right?
CNC actually is CNC for 7 is really awful because even if it has overpower, you still can only... It's one action card. So normally you would just use a D-React.
Yeah.
But with CNC you can't do that. So you're still taking 4 and losing your arsenal unless you block with Crown.
If you have an attack react or if you have a reinforce the line, but otherwise you're kind of SOL or just a non-attack action
card.
Yeah, a block card. Maybe
those block cards that every constructed deck is running.
Yeah.
I don't know. They made a majestic one.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that in a little bit. But I mean, like, what do you think? Like, do you think they're really trying to make block happen?
It feels to me, not that anyone asked, that
I'm asking you.
Yeah, fair enough. The sense I get is that they think Dominate is like not interactive enough, and that they realize that Overpower is maybe a mechanic that allows a little bit more interactivity, a little bit more flexibility. And maybe makes for, especially in limited formats, more interesting games. I think Bright Lights sort of bore that out.
Yeah, Overpower was really cool in Bright Lights. And I kind of like that it makes non-attack, all actions count, but it makes like reactions, just like attack reactions kind of better in a way, because it gives them like a use case and a difference that comes up more than just like when you play them, which is kind of cool. Like that cards defend differently too. It's interesting.
Yeah. It seems to be getting, like, if the people talk a lot about heavy hitters being sort of like a return to form, being sort of welcome to Wraithy, and like getting back to, like, if you go back to that set, like, it is, okay, yes, we have attack actions, but a core element of the game is attack reactions and defense reactions, and, this, like, every chain link involving multiple sort of the back and forths.
Yeah.
Which I like, and I want to see more of that, but I think that I'm afraid they're not going to print enough D-Reacts for that to actually be the case.
Yeah.
Interesting. You think more just block cards?
Well, just you need D-Reacts if you're going to have attack reactions.
For sure.
Because then there's absolutely no interactability. That's worse than Dominate.
Yeah.
I think. One of the worst things is when you just have attack reactions on you, and then there's nothing you can do. And you're like, I don't have any defense reactions in my deck.
Yep.
So, I mean, but that's only happens when you're running Azalea or something, and you're like, I don't care.
Yeah, I don't want traps.
Try to hit me. I don't give a shit.
Or Katsu and Outsiders, and there's no reaction, like D-Reacts you can run.
But I'm totally okay with, like, a Flesh and Blood meta that where, like, most of the turns are one chain link and 3 reactions each. Like, I think that would really be really cool. I would like to have more games like that are possible. And it's just not possible right now. You can't run that many D-Reacts or attack reactions unless you're Dory.
Yeah, basically have to be Dory. Or maybe, not even Bolton. Like, I think Kasai will, because Kasai will be able to run like Blade Runner and like a lot of other attack reaction pumps, Glint.
Yeah.
So that'll be like a more reaction heavy deck probably.
So this is what I'm saying. We're getting these at least 3 heroes buffed with reactions. Maybe even Bolton. Because we've got Olympia now. We've got motherfucking Kasai.
Yeah.
And Dory. And maybe Bolton. And they're all going to be doing, in Constructed, a lot of wild reaction stuff.
Yeah.
I need more D-Reacts than Sync and Fate.
I feel like they're coming. I don't feel like they will be like, I think the thing is they will be 0 for 3s. I would be really surprised if they printed any more 0 for 4 D-Reacts.
I think that's okay.
Yeah.
I really want that. I want red 0 for 3s or even like 1 for 4s.
Yeah.
Like I want to be paying in the reaction step, like on my turn to do stuff. Like I just think it makes things more interesting.
Man, paying for a D-React is such bad value though.
Doesn't feel great. Yeah.
It is if you can't do anything else. But I agree. But they've got to give you. I mean, this is why I love Riptide so much. I think Riptide is one of the funnest decks to play because your hand goes away during their turn. And then that's like fine. And then you're like, I have 1 card left. It's a 1 for 5, and I use a Tunic or like whatever.
Yeah.
Or like, it's a 0 for 4, and it has like an annoying on hit.
Man, if that's what you like about Riptide, you would love playing defensive-oriented Katsu.
I know. I just hate the lines. I hate the combo lines.
Oh yeah, you don't like ninja lines.
So anyway, we're not done talking about Betsy.
Yeah.
So Betsy is a guardian. And she
You
has
could guard me any day. Sorry.
I'm trying to get guarded.
Disrespectful.
By
It's 2024. I can't be talking like this.
you can't be thirsty about women. And
Only be thirsty about the brutes.
Yeah.
that's right, because
No-
they're
no
not
thirsting.
they're not people kind
They're
of.
not like real people.
Yeah, so Betsy is a guardian, and she'll be able to run a lot of guardian cards, and she has a guardian, specialization.
Mhm.
That's a 4 for 8, which is normal Bravo rate.
That's the
Mhm.
curve, yeah.
When this attacks a hero, you may wager a gold, might, and vigor token with them. That's all right. Pretty good.
A lot of value if you hit.
A lot
yeah.
of value if you hit.
Mhm.
But
not disruptive, interestingly. It's like the first Guardian on hit that is like, it does something for you and doesn't do something to your opponent.
but it could
right?
do it to them.
That's true. They could benefit.
They could benefit if they have 3 sink belows in their hand and you pummel it and they still don't get hit.
So are Might and Vigor, are those all the ones that like trigger at the start of your turn? So if you win the defensive wager, you have to use them on the next turn?
Yeah.
It's interesting because it's like, to block out 8, you need most of your cards. So it's like, are you going to have a good turn to use those tokens if you get them, but like use 3 cards to block? It's kind of interesting.
Yeah, but it's really bad if they get them.
If Betsy gets them, that's true.
Yeah.
So is it like you just don't want them to get it and you don't care if you get it as much?
And here's another thing. Before we really get too deep into heavy hitters, one thing I
And
find
another thing. Sorry.
one thing I've been finding a little annoying about every other content creators' coverage of this, and yes, I'm talking about you.
You got a bone to pick? Yeah.
I got a bone to pick with you. Everyone has been like, we need. They want to evaluate these cards as if they know what gold does,
Yeah.
or they're like, we gotta know what gold does.
Yeah,
And
when
it's
people are like-
yeah, we'll know what gold does pretty soon, and it's pretty easy to imagine that there's gonna be a bunch of commons and rares that just like destroy a gold to give this +3.
Yeah, or
Destroy a gold to make this have an on hit.
destroy gold to pay for this. Yeah, it's funny when people are like, we really need more gold payoffs, and it's like, my brother in Christ, we've seen like a third of the set. We haven't seen the cards
we
yet.
have seen under a fourth.
But
Yeah.
how funny would it be if they didn't add any more?
Olympia is just
It's
like,
like,
whoop, I
No,
do nothing. I guess.
Put 6 cash-ins in your deck. Cheat. No,
Yeah, they're printing blue cash in. Blue
Cheat
cash
at
in
the game.
costs 5.
rules are just guidelines. No,
Yeah, heavy hitters is all
Yeah.
themed about being a bad person,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
you actually have to be a bad person
You
to
have
win.
to cheat to win. Yeah.
I do like the big bet. It reminds it does. What's interesting to me, there's so many cards that are like this in the set where you have with the clash mechanic and things like that. It feels like someone was like coming up for inspiration for set ideas, and they looked at Swing Big and it was just like, what if an entire set was like this?
Kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a cool
Which-
idea.
Yeah, I mean,
and
it's
civic
cool.
steps.
Oh yeah, when you block with it,
Yeah, yeah.
they get something good. Yeah. Yeah, the idea
Lots
of
of
not
weird
just
trade-offs.
Yeah, not just an on hit, but it's like a fight, and whoever
Mhm.
wins the battle like gets the benefits.
Yeah, yeah.
It's cool.
I like it a lot. I mean, I was very excited when they did like a revealed wager,
Mhm.
and I've only gotten more interested and ready to play poker in Flesh and Blood because
yeah.
that was my first card game. I love it. I love gambling. I love lying.
God, we gotta play poker sometime.
I love it. So, that's very good. Speaking of what, let's just talk about Victor.
Oh yeah.
Speaking of making gold, for no reason, we have no idea.
What do we do with it?
They're not even gonna make it. They're gonna do anything good with it.
Brian Gottlieb, where's the gold payoff? Come on.
I
mean,
want the gold. Give me the
Give me the gold.
Who all seen the Leprechaun? Say yeah.
Yeah. Victor Goldmane. We actually recently saw on Twitter. It's the artist posted for the first time I've ever seen
Yeah,
one
yeah.
of these. A brief of like to the artist what to draw,
Mhm.
and they like described him as like punchable,
Mhm.
Yeah.
which is very funny.
Yeah, one of the keywords was like punchable face, rich, pay to win.
I found that actually really comforting because the idea of like the knowing that the dev team is self-aware enough to realize, like, yeah, we're making a douchebag is like
Yeah,
good.
it's great.
That's great.
That's way better than if they didn't realize that.
Yeah, totally.
How could they not?
He's so annoying.
He's
yeah.
fucking annoying.
Yeah,
like,
but,
especially with this one.
Oh,
like,
yeah, the
this
young
guy,
one.
Yeah.
This guy looks evil as shit.
Yeah. Everyone's calling him Draco Malfoy for good reason.
And also, like, I don't know if we've seen this story at all, because James was like saying it as if we had, but he tweeted underneath that being like, no, his family is a lion crested because of the wheat that they there's a mane because of the wheat that
I think he was saying it was like his family's rich because they owned a bunch of wheat fields or something.
So it's like it's like in his head James is walking around with like really in-depth details about all of the characters and then like not publishing them. Which I find
put out a lore book.
Put out the other lore books. I'm sure that's a whole nother thing.
The rate that lore gets released for this game is actually like, I want so much more Metrics lore. Like, where? Why not?
Where lore?
Give it.
Yeah, we had a metric set and it was like just a trickle.
We got 3 articles.
Yeah. I think it might just
Really?
be that
it was
like,
only 3.
I might have been. It was 4.
It was not that much. We got a little more backstory on Dash and stuff.
I feel like we got a lot more for Outsiders.
Yeah,
and
we
Dynasty.
definitely did.
Yeah.
We got like off-cycle, like we got mid-meta lore articles for Azuri and Arachne, and
the one where like they came and like those guys who put out the hit on the Emperor or who were also contracted were like kind of mad.
Spider.
Oh, yeah.
No, they're the Spider, right?
Arachne's part of the Spider, I think?
No.
I don't remember.
Yeah.
Oh no, yeah, all right.
It was
Yes,
like
I'm sorry.
It was
yes.
like the other gang, and they came and she like blew them up and stuff.
Yeah.
It was really cool.
Yeah, they killed everyone.
I was like, wow, I can imagine this being a show, and I'd watch it.
Yeah.
And that's really important because it's like, I don't want to. It's hard to tell your friends like play this game with dumb stories. You know, like I want to have good stories and good characters.
Yu-Gi-Oh.
I don't play that.
Yeah. My sense is just that it's like they have such a long, like 10 or 15 year plan. Like I think James is like, because he spent so long planning the game, I feel like he has like the story. He's like, okay, here's what the arc is going to be, and we're like still at like the beginning of like the first act of the arc or something, or like maybe the end of the first act of the War of the Monarch.
Maybe, but
so it feels like it's
War
just
of the
coming.
Monarch is like we're 2 sets into it.
We're 2 sets into it. Yeah, it feels like the actual like the whole story is going to just take a really long time to come out because he's thinking so far in the future. He's like really planning ahead.
We're talking about Flesh and Blood lore the way that people talked about the showrunners for Lost. So
yeah, I'm not. I think I'm reasonable. Have reasonable doubts here.
Or
fool me once, entertainment industry.
But at least there's no random polar bears or anything. Like this is pretty basic shit.
There's just a fully like urbanized metropolitan landscape about what, like 10 miles from like a jungle full of rabid beasts that are also sentient. Like,
that's true.
Hey, it's like we live in New York City. New Jersey is just across the river. I mean, it's real.
That's true.
Damn, shots fired.
So Victor
I'm sorry,
Goldman-
Tommy, not you. You're
not
normal.
Tommy.
Yeah.
No, someone else.
just Italian.
Oh yeah, I wanted to say, I wanted to tweet this, but I forgot. I think the best cosplay you could do is you go to a tournament, you're dressed as Victor Goldman. Round 1, you try to bribe your opponent and the judge to concede and get banned from the tournament. You should win the cosplay contest if you're dressed as Victor.
That's so good. Someone please do that. Oh.
Yeah, you have to look like this, though.
You got to look like that. You got to try to actually give them gold and be like, would you perhaps want to concede to me? And then they call a judge and you're like, can you look the other way?
And really offer them like $500?
Yeah, like a heavy gold bar.
You slide the money over the table and just yell, clash!
Victor Goldman, high and mighty. He says the first time each turn you create a gold token from an effect you control, draw a card. That's good to draw a card.
Draw a card is good text to have on your hero ability.
Very
crazy.
good.
Unless you're Teklavos.
The first
That's
time
true.
each
That's
turn
true.
you would, well, that's a lot. Well, we don't know.
Yeah.
The first time each turn
be
you would fail to win a clash. Instead, you may destroy a gold you control. If you do, put one of the revealed cards on the bottom of the owner's deck, then clash again. So that right there is already a pretty good gold payoff. I mean, like having 2 chances to win a clash and then drawing a card.
Especially with the weapon, which maybe segues naturally into that.
Right, but this is not a token. This is a rare.
Sure.
So you will have to draft this, and this probably won't be your general Victor.
Man, that does feel like, though, if you get that weapon, you just auto win. I don't know. We'll see as the set unfolds.
Depends on
it's
the
funny-
matchup. Maybe non-Guardian Mirror.
Fatiguey decks in Limited seem very strong.
Especially in the first couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Like before anyone figures out how to get past it, it's like it's like you just force this.
Like I'm calling it now. Whoever wins that sealed calling will at some point have drafted a deck that has this weapon.
Yeah, I can see it.
I can
definitely see
imagine.
it.
Well, another thing, if people are like, people were talking about lots of takes about this weapon in particular have been like, well, if you get one counter on it, then it sucks.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, well, I mean, it's below rate, but it also has an insanely annoying discard, like milling
Yeah.
effect.
Yeah, the
and
on-hit
if
is
you
still good.
if you someone on the Runaways podcast, what's his name?
Cody, I think?
Cody on the Runaways mentioned that if you have like even if a Kodachi costs a blue, like, and if it hit, it takes one of your cards and destroys them.
Yeah, what if you have
like
4 cards left in deck and it's like, give me a card from hand or probably a card from deck?
Congratulations, you just turbocharged Spider's Bite.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
It's I mean, doing this for 3, doing it for 2, it's like it still really sucks.
And it's one-handed, right? So you could have 2 of them if you draft 2.
Wait, if you can get go again.
Or if you're just like playing Blitz and you build 2. No, I just mean like you could wear out one and just like use the other one if you have 2 of them.
There are no
true.
currently existing cards that give hammers go again, right?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
well, the other thing is
Quicken tokens, or what do you call them?
oh yeah, you have to draft this bloodied oval.
Common, yeah.
But that's a nice thing to hang on to.
It's not bad, yeah. Have that to go lower life and block
Also,
one.
very few people I've heard actually mention that this is a set that is designed to be drafted UPF style.
Oh, yeah, that
and
sounds really fun.
I'm really excited to do that.
Yeah, the fact that there's cards that are relevant for UPF, and yeah, we should do like armories like that sometime.
Oh,
That'd be
I can't wait. But anyway, Victor. Is the first guy who really, I think lots of people are, I mean, I think KO, and we'll get to KO and the Brutes.
sweet.
But Victor is the first guy I think a lot of people are thinking is very, very good. I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you think he's very good, or do you think he's like fine?
Are we talking in a limited or constructed?
In
context?
constructed.
Constructed, it depends how much you can actually clash. It feels like we
Yeah.
have new heroes that are a lot more niche, and especially in Guardian. And I wonder if that's just because
I would
like-
assume you could clash every turn.
clash every
But
turn.
will I mean
Yeah.
that because you're talking about because a lot of the clash cards involve non-attack actions, right? Like in order to like a lot of the cards that have clash on them
Yeah, we've
are
seen
non-attacks.
a couple blocks that clash.
Yeah.
and
So
like if he has armor that clashes and he's like putting it down and clashing multiple times with a sip,
yeah,
that's gonna be a lot of clashing. If he has to like dedicate deck cards to
Sips.
clashing, like my sense about Guardian is it was like they watched what happened with Oldham where they kept banning his cards and he was like, okay, I'll just run 60 good Guardian cards and was still one of the best decks in the format. And they were kind of like, Guardian needs to be a little bit in a like constrained lane to not be broken because the cards are just so on their face powerful.
And
This
that-
is the opposite of consistent.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
yeah.
I don't know. Do you think they're gonna bring back majestic weapons? Like, have we seen all the weapons? Like, we've already seen 6 weapons,
Yeah.
and
We haven't seen all the tokens, it doesn't seem like.
How
and
many weapons are there going to be? Did they announce that there were?
no,
going to
no. I thought they were saying there's gonna be 6 heroes, and then somebody said there's gonna be a shit ton of weapons.
I
Like,
thought someone
Yeah.
said there's 6 or 10 different weapons or something. Like,
Be? Yeah, I thought I heard a concrete number at some point, but
I don't think there's been a number, but
Okay.
I could be wrong.
Yeah.
I am also quite dumb. So
I don't know, but like this is a card they released, a majestic block. That it's like a majestic block feels like it only makes sense if clashing is frequent.
Yeah, this one
Yeah.
seemed. I mean, if you just use one block card that clashes and then win, and then you do this, then this blocks for 5. So blocking for 5 on one card is already pretty insane.
yeah,
So if you have multiple blocks and then win the clashes, and then this can block for even more, it's kind of nuts
Wait,
And
5
this, like-
if you win 2 or twice.
because it's twice the number.
Yeah.
this also seems like I don't know. Well, I mean, making a lot of snap judgments before we've seen the full set, but like from the cards that have been revealed so far, this seems like only Victor can run this. Like I don't know
Yeah,
how
I think so.
you would run this in any of the other heroes.
Like Bravo or Betsy or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I mean, Yeah, it seems hard. I mean, but like, Victor doesn't say anything about. Well, it doesn't say, "Oh, you have to win."
You have to win a clash, yeah. So
He doesn't say anything about doing a clash. He just says that you just have like a better chance of winning.
No, right, but
Yeah.
I think that card is playable for because he has multiple chances at clashes,
Right.
and so that's the reason why this strikes me as a card that would absolutely send you into Victor.
I wonder if
Right,
he's
but
going to
this
have
is
some
Majestic,
attacks that
though.
clash when
so
you
like
block
you're
with them.
probably not going to be drafting it most of the time, which is why it's so confusing to me.
I feel like it's kind of like a signpost, like constructed card.
Yeah.
It's like build Victor as a defensive clash deck that builds up gold and then spends it to like pop off with a big attack or something. I wonder if he's going to have cards
Let's see those attacks.
Yeah.
Victor is what Sift Bravo walked so Victor could run.
Oh yeah, gosh. That's
We're
gonna be
drawing
weird.
all kinds of shit.
Drawing lots
I'm
of
having
cards.
10 card hands.
Mm-hmm.
Victor's running Crown of Dominion.
What I really hope is that there is a fatigue deck, or at least like an interesting defensive deck, because I just feel like we're in a weird meta right now where there isn't a good one.
Yeah, I mean, Bravo just has too many bad matchups if he's like, I'm going to prolong
Bravo
the game
sucks
and
as a
block.
defensive.
I will mention once again, defensive-oriented Katsu in a very good position right
I don't
now.
know if he's that good though.
Also, Slab Dash. I feel like Slab Dash is like pretty playable right
What's
now.
Slab Dash?
That's Easton Douglas's new name for Tree Frog Dash.
Okay.
Or
defensive
tank,
dash.
Tank Dash. Yeah, defensive dash.
Pistol Dash. Why don't people just call it Pistol Dash?
I don't know.
You do the pistol plan.
You do the pistol package, yeah. I mean, I guess because some people always have pistol and dash.
I was going to say, yeah. I mean, you're kind of always pistol dash.
Yeah.
Yeah, but this is what I'm saying, is that there's no deck that is like, this is what I do, and this is what I'm good at doing. And I'd like there to be one.
Yeah, I could see Victor being a deck that is like, maybe ends up a little bit like Oldham, but less OP and Elemental, where it's like, he's good at defending because of like the value gained. Like just the card we already have.
Like I was excited
Test of
about
Strength.
Teklavison because of that.
Yeah,
Because it
yeah.
seemed like, oh, you can have your whole deck just be armor, and then defend a whole bunch, and then at the end of the game you just become a monster and destroy everything. But it just doesn't work very well yet.
I feel like Victor is maybe a little better positioned because the problem with Tekla is you're just like put on armor, block and do nothing, and your opponent's like, okay, 5-card hand after 5-card hand and kill you. But Victor can be like, I'm gonna block, make a gold because I want to clash, draw a card, and now I still have a 4-card hand to like hit you and pummel you with something.
Yeah.
So it's like he can kind of block and attack at the same time in a weird way, which could be really powerful.
This is what I'm saying.
Wow, when you put it that way, it sounds like I'm going to hate Victor.
Yeah, you probably
everyone
will.
hates this motherfucker. Look at his face. But I will like him, I think.
Especially, I just realized the interaction.
This
could
card
be,
isn't very good, though.
You could block with that block card, win the clash, which you reveal the card on top, and it's like a big attack, so it's like make a gold and draw that card. So imagine being like, oh shit, a Spinal on top of your deck. Now you draw that and then play it against me.
Right.
Because I attacked you.
Hey, cool.
Yeah.
Why does the Golden Sun not seem very good? That seems like...
I guess I just don't think
Relatively fine.
I don't think this clause is good. I think the card... sorry, for audio listeners, I don't think the second clause is very good. The card in general is a 4 for 7. It's a Victor specialization. Then we're talking about the Golden Sun. It says, as an additional cost to play this, you may destroy a gold you control. If you do, this gets +3 in overpower. And I do think that that's good.
Yeah.
Pretty
because
good.
this is a 4 for 10.
Yeah, off Tunic 2-card 10, let's go.
Well, this is what I was saying.
Or off Vigor. Like, if you can make more Vigor tokens.
This is what I was saying about the gold payoffs. Is like, I think there's going to be commons and rares that have gold payoffs like this, where it'll be like, it'll get +3, or it'll, get overpower, or it'll get
surely for Olympia too, because Olympia only cares about gold, so he's gonna need a lot of outlets to use it.
Yeah, as a reaction, you can have a gold and give it +3, or as a reaction you can make it discard a card or whatever, something crazy like that.
Yeah.
So I think that gold will be good, and you're gonna want it for for other reasons than pitching a blue and having one left over.
Just out of context. Gold is good, and you're going to want it. Like,
call now.
This is a mad money.
Yeah.
Buy gold. The Fed is ending the world.
Buy MetaZoo. Is that 90% off? It's the greatest deal of a lifetime. It's gold.
But I think that this is a weird one. I don't know. I guess it's good to play, but it says when you win a clash revealing this, create a gold token.
Yeah, that's a bit high rolly. That's kind of like
that's high rolly.
It's like BIOS update or something. It's like how often is that
fun bonus
happening?
text?
Yeah,
the card's good on its own. Like,
yeah, totally.
I think so. I think you're right. I think the card is pretty good. This part doesn't really mean anything because it's like, I mean, wait, what does he say? If you create a gold,
you are able to.
Yeah, you would draw this card.
You're able to cheat on clashes, which
like
is interesting. Like if you can cheat and then have more, maybe you're like more likely to hit this than you would otherwise think, just because you can like bottom a miss.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Okay. I think that this guy seems really fun. We didn't talk about this, but what do you think Betsy will... I currently... I don't really see why you play Betsy too bad over Bravo.
Oh,
like
in CC?
At the moment in CC?
Well, yeah. We need more reasons to run her and specs.
Like the +1 is good.
Yeah, the
like
+1's nice.
Spinal for 10.
Mm-hmm.
But then it makes it cost 7, right?
I think it just depends on what, like, because I thought you were going to say in limited.
I don't know.
It depends on what kind of wagering attacks there are or what kind of, like, wagering pumps there are. If there's stuff that's just, like, add wager to an attack, so you're like, if you can wager a CNC, I think that's, like, one of the questions is, like, how easily can you wager CNC? You know what I mean? Like,
sure.
Is it going to be similar to, like, Uzuri, where it's, like, you basically can place, like, because Uzuri can play CNC with Dominate. So if Betsy can play CNC that's 7 overpower, that's a reason to run the deck. Or, you know, Spinal or whatever.
Right.
When you put it that way, I feel like I'm going to hate Betsy.
Let's get into the other warrior we haven't talked about, which is Olympia, who I think a lot of people have been a little down on or, like, not talking about him.
Yeah, a lot of people are like, he's so bland, which is like, I don't know. He's a knight. It's like Dorinthia is just a knight in shining armor.
Yeah, but she's a cute waifu.
Well, what? He's not a cute waifu?
No, he's a hottie.
You want to wife this guy up?
Yeah, I'll wife this guy up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he is a sort of... It is weird to see someone whose flavor is so normal.
Yeah. And a really simple hero ability, too. I feel like it's kind of on purpose. Like, he's supposed to just be, like, a simple character design
like it.
And a simple hero ability. Yeah, I honestly love it because it feels like as the game keeps going on, you're always sort of like, what are they going to come up with as like a new angle for a hero? So when it's something really simple, it's cool because it's just kind of like they can still make simple hero text.
I mean, just like thinking about it from a just a constructed perspective. I mean, if you give, you know, okay, like let's say you have you do this, you create the gold token in constructed, you have cash in your deck. All of a sudden, you have 2 extra cards on as a warrior seems busted. Like
it's good, yeah.
You mean just using the gold token to pitch for?
No, just using the gold token to play cash in, and getting and having all of a sudden you have like an int 5 hand here.
That's good.
6 with an arsenal. Like the cards with warrior, like giving warrior that much card advantage, I feel like is going to enable a lot of powerful things just because of just what warrior can do with if you give them extra cards.
But also this card is fucking insane. I don't know. I think this card is crazy.
You pay X and choose X+1, right?
Yeah. So you swing with your sword or whatever.
I'm curious what weapon he's using. Maybe Centauri.
It's money
sabers?
on their hands.
Yeah.
Money on their
money on their hands.
Oh yeah, it is kind of like that. But then as a reaction, you pitch a blue. Your target gets agility gold vigor wager and +4.
If you pay a blue. Or just pay whatever.
No.
Yeah, X+1. So you choose 4 modes if you paid 3, and it gets +4 if you chose.
No, it gets Y. Y is the number of times it's wagered.
Okay,
so it's 3.
So it's +3. Okay.
So it's +3. So you get +3 and all these wagers. And if the card already had a wager, it'd be 4.
Yeah. Yeah, just being able to wager at reaction speed sounds really powerful. Because then it's like someone has to have a D-react.
Yeah. It sounds really
That sounds crazy.
powerful.
Yeah.
Can you imagine being on the opposite end of an opponent who's wagering like 7 times in a turn? Like
It sounds terrifying. Yeah,
It sounds really
if you're
annoying.
not set up to stop it.
Yeah.
So I think this card is insane, and I would.
It's
I'm
agility,
really excited to
gold,
play it.
and vigor. Those are all so good. Agility is free go again, and vigor is free pitch.
I know.
Like one of the best cards, like two of the best cards in the game are Tunic and Snapdragon Scalers because they just say a free pitch and free go again.
Right.
Power
And-
9 activities for all you Magic players.
Yeah,
out there.
yeah.
All right.
And if
Yeah.
you win,
I just looked at the Power 9 for the first time today, so I'm thinking about the Power 9.
Oh, no,
Wait,
those
you didn't know?
Those cards are crazy.
I never played Magic.
Yeah.
Me
Draw
neither.
3 cards.
I knew
Extra
what
turn.
Black Lotus did. I didn't know what the rest of them
Yeah,
did.
yeah. The rest are
Um,
almost as nutty.
And then also, if you're Olympia, which you have to be to play this card, you get 2 golds if you win.
Oh yeah, if you win, you get
Yeah.
multiple golds. Yeah, it's pretty wild.
I think this card is nuts, and I think this card will see a lot of play. It's also just a
Yeah.
blue block 3. Like,
Mhm.
it's going to be good.
It's kind of like a new glint.
It doesn't go again.
Doesn't give go again.
Doesn't give go again.
It'll
That's
see a
true.
lot of play in 3 sets when they make Olympia good. Just kidding.
We haven't seen an attack for Warrior.
There's hybrid attacks further
right,
down the chain.
But there's not like a just Warrior attack. So it says attack, but I don't know.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's the thing too. We might be looking at more like Bolton style decks that like mix in attack actions with your weapon attacks.
So Wage Agility is a 3-cost 7,
Mm-hmm.
and you're wagering. So if you play this, pitch a blue, and then you play the card we were just talking about with a blue, then it's a 4-card 11.
That card's any attack. It's not just a weapon attack.
Yes.
That's really good.
Yep.
When warriors can react on weapons or attacks, it's
Yeah.
kind of terrifying.
It's
Yeah.
target attack wagers.
Ooh.
It doesn't have to be any. It could be
You
a
could wager
CNC.
CNC. Yeah,
You
Jesus
could wager-
Christ.
This is what I'm like. A lot of people, no, the spicy take I have about this set is that like the conversation right now is like, oh, Kasai looks so strong, or this hero looks so strong, or this hero is like. I feel like it is. We're having sort of like an Azalea in Outsider situation where like there are a bunch of cards that are going to help out, but like the real secret winner that nobody is ever talking about is Dory.
I could see it. Yeah.
Well, this is an Olympia specialization, luckily.
But the one the card we were just talking about, like wage agility. Is it wage agility? If
Yeah.
you can. It's pretty crazy to give both Brute and Warrior an on-hit like that. Because
Yeah.
historically, these are classes that have almost no on-hits, especially Brute has... Their closest thing to an on-hit is Swing Big. And now they have... I guess this is basically like Swing Big, except if you hit, you get to make an agility token instead of just them getting it if they block it out.
Well, it's also vigor, so
Yeah.
you can do.
Yeah.
They have vigor
That's
too.
Guardian. Yeah, so Warrior gets Vigor. Brute doesn't get Vigor.
And I mean, even outside of that, you have
And this one.
all of a sudden in
Yeah.
like what was Dory's biggest problem? Being able to
No
get past
on-hits.
Dromai.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
And,
poppers.
and so all of a sudden you have a synergistic to what you're trying to do card that's an attack action that you can use as a popper. Like, I don't know.
Yeah. No, it's really good. And also just like the
Dory
ability...
stonks on the rise.
For if Dory, if she like swings the Dawn Blade with natural go, like with unconditional go again, and it's blocked out, to then just follow up with an on hit.
Yep.
To be like, okay, here's wage agility for 7.
Yep.
After they overblocked the Dawn Blade
Yeah.
is really powerful.
No, that's the other. Yeah. Giving Dory something to do when she has go again but can't swing a second time is huge.
Yeah. Because before it was basically just CNC.
Yeah.
And it's a good card, but it's like it never feels great when you kind of have to like force CNC into your deck just to like shore up the issues your deck is having.
Yeah.
So with Olympia, I think he's gonna be good, and I think that it's gonna come down to what else you can do with gold,
Mm-hmm.
which I think my ideas are pretty normal. Like I
Yeah.
think you'll probably be able to give you'll be able to turn them into 3 value easily.
Yeah, probably. Which is pretty crazy.
Or some other on hit like -3, like discard a card or something.
Yeah. You
Some
know-
sort of on hit, and that's crazy, and that's what Warrior has been needing for a while. So
Yeah.
I think that this guy's gonna be really fucking annoying, and I like him.
Yeah. Looking at Olympia and then Kasai side by side now, I think it was on the Runaways podcast. They were talking about Olympia, and they were like, the weakness with any of the wager decks feels like it's going to be if you're in a matchup where someone can consistently block you out, then it's like, when do you ever want to wager? Because wagering has a downside if they can block you.
Mhm.
So if Olympia's only reason to exist as a deck is to win wagers and you're against like a defensive Bravo and they can just block you, then it's like, how do you...
Let me tell you, as defensive Katsu, I love Quicken tokens.
Yes, but
Yeah.
also like, does it matter to Bravo to have a gold token?
I just mean like if Olympia's game plan is to win wagers, which like that's all his hero tech says, and you can't win them, then you're going to be annoyed. You know, like
Yeah,
if
sure.
you're not enacting your game
But
plan.
I think that's the smart thing that Flesh and Blood is trying to do right now, which is make cards that have bad matchups
for sure,
and
totally.
not decks that have no bad matchups.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I think that if you're good into everyone but Bravo or like defensive, then that's an interesting.
Totally. Yeah,
and
it's
there'll
like a
be
balance you have to build in your deck.
What do they call those things?
Tension. Deck building tension.
No. Yeah.
No? Because Kasai seems like she's kind of the opposite, where it's like she's better against decks that do want to block. She's trying to like chip and like play a value game, which, I don't know, Olympia could also run Dynamo if he's swinging one-handed weapons and just like also play a value game with Dynamo against Guardians. I don't know.
For sure. Speaking of heroes who are balanced and have bad matchups, KO Armed and Dangerous.
Oh, KO is sweet.
I don't know. I don't know what his bad matchup would be, actually. I mean, he seems probably the most consistent of all of the heroes so far.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because
he has no like text that is like randomized.
Right. If anything, it's
I
just
guess
like
that's the thing people like about Betsy, right? Like she's just Bravo with +1 and Overpower rather than Dominate.
Yeah, he's definitely the least gated deck because Betsy, it's like how much good wager is there to put in your deck. Olympia, it's like how much gold payoff is there to put in your deck. KO is just like your whole deck can be 6 and be blue if you win, and you just can't do Blood Rush Claw attack as the trade off.
Yeah,
which is not that bad of a trade off.
But then most of your 6s are actually going to be 7s. Oh, no.
Once they attack,
he doesn't +1. Sorry.
Yeah. He kind of is +1 because he makes a might.
Yeah, but
turn.
not on the combat chain.
Not on the combat.
Oh, right. But then the might. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, you make a might.
They will be for 7.
So you can run blues that you just like discard and pitch them and don't care, and then still run reds. And it's easier to pay for expensive reds if you have more blues.
What's the text on might token again?
I think it's just breaks at the start of your turn.
Start of your turn. Okay.
Gives +1.
It's
Jamie, why don't you pull those up? Pull up the. Tokens.
They're at the bottom, I think.
Yeah. It's good to know the tokens.
What's Joe Rogan's producer? Jimmy, pull this up.
Yeah. Jamie, pull that up. Might. Yeah. At the start of your turn, destroy this. Then your next attack. It's.
I was having a conversation with someone that pointed out that KO's hero ability. Kind of a problem into Illusionist because it isn't because it's on the combat. If you're trying to pop something, it's on the combat chain.
You can't pop.
Yeah, which was something I hadn't thought about, and I was curious if you had the might token, if that could work out. But that could actually be kind of a problem matchup.
Yeah. I think it's a reason to like still run.
Sorry, what?
Well, you can't pop with your 6s that are actually 5s because on the combat chain they're not.
Yeah,
I'm aware of that.
Yeah,
but I don't. I mean, you still have more than enough 6s in your deck.
I feel like
probably
all your reds.
Your blue base just. Here's the thing. I think you don't make your whole deck blues now. You just have enough blues.
You can run 15 blues if you want to.
Unlike Rhinar.
But I think the tension is in that he will probably have fewer poppers than Rhinar will. Like just as far as raw numbers, whether it's marginally or whatever.
Yeah.
But and then also without the intimidate text on the hero ability, that enables Dromai to play a lot more defensively. And I think there is a world with how often brute attacks force you to discard, and with KO not having intimidate, where KO really becomes pretty fatigable if you approach it the right way.
Okay, sure, yeah.
Yeah, totally. Just reading his like hero text, that's like a kind of a tension because it's like his hero text really wants you to it's the first time you discard a 6 power each turn, you make a might. So you're like, I kind of want to do this every turn because it's +1 every turn. But then it's almost like boost dash. It's like you can only discard 30 times before you've discarded half your deck and you've probably used all your stuff up. So,
I think that's going to be a real heavy concern, and obviously like it's less of a because KO seems designed to play with Berserk. That is going to be less of a problem on your Berserk turns, but even your Berserk turns without Intimidate are like the combo becomes a lot less scary if they're doing 30 when you could throw your whole hand at it and block 12, and you're still eating 22, but like whatever. Yeah,
I wonder. I mean, because Levia doesn't really intimidate, and then is able to close out fatiguey matchups because she can go wider is kind of the thing, and I guess KO can like go a little bit wide. I don't know. I think
you can run pulping. You can run.
Yeah,
Ride.
It's just gonna be like a deck building consideration that you need ways to like close out the game. Like maybe you run some barraging beatdowns for certain matchups, or like other stuff that like just says Intimidate, just so you have a way of like forcing cards out and then getting Dominate or something, closing the game.
And folks, that's deck building tension.
I think that, I think he's sort of the aggro deck of this set, right?
In a weird way, yeah. I guess he's the most aggressive.
Like he's the
slanted deck.
I almost kind of, I don't know. Like I could see him somewhat like, I think it was the Arsenal Pass guys where someone made mention of KO playing sort of weirdly like Ira, and I could sort of see a world where that takes place, where KO is like super mid-rangey and blocky until you see Berserk and tries to go like it's sort of a similar way to like the viable Rhinar matchups. Or the viable Rhinar decks over the past like couple of years have played, where you're just sort of trying to keep life total close until you can have your big Blood Rush turn or whatever. He seems to line up with that game plan quite a bit. Yeah,
and there's also there's some recursion that exists in Brute. Like you could run Dig Up Dinner and shuffle a bunch. That's it'll get all 6s back into your deck because there are 6s in your graveyard. You could do, isn't there Reincarnate goes to the bottom of your deck if you discard it at random? There's a few things you can sort of do to recur and try to keep your deck healthy. And also you just have big numbers. It's
number.
In the way that Guardians, it's really hard to fatigue a Guardian because it's they play one card that deals 8 or 10 or something. So if you have a card that deals 7 or 8, it's taking multiple cards from your opponent to block the damage. So just on deck math, you can kind of fatigue people that way. I don't know. It's interesting.
So who do we like? Who do you think is going to be the best? Oh yeah, Rhinar's back too. But it's the same thing.
Rhinar is probably going to be, if it's at all Katsu and Azalea after Outsiders, new look Rhinar might be really scary. If they're they've had a long time to hear all the complaints, see the ways that his current card pool falls short, and then update for his existing hero text.
Beat Chest seems so good.
It seems powerful.
Beat Chest is I don't know. I don't. Is it good?
I think it's
being able to
synergistic.
choose the card that you're discarding is such a huge thing for Brute.
But then what? It's a 3-card 5. You got to pitch for this, and then discard a card, and then you get 5, and then you have another card. So that's your whole turn. So that's 11. So it's a 4-card 11.
I mean, but if you do this before, okay, let's say you have a hand that's I don't know, Blue Wrecker Romp, Blood Rush Bellow this, and then Beast Within or something like that, where you're playing this. Well, I guess you'd need a card in Arsenal too, because you'd have to have something to discard for Blood Rush Bellow. But the idea being that this can really sort of, I think, help your larger power combo turns sort of snowball.
No, you would draw a Beast Within. So assuming you draw a 6, it's
you'd have to draw.
That's right. Yeah, you would. Yeah.
No. You'd have to draw this.
No,
because you wouldn't
play this, pitch, beat Chest with the Beast Within, draw a new card. You still have floating, and then use that floating to play Blood Rush.
Folks, catch us all at the top 8 of your next call.
What's wrong? What am I not? What's not making sense?
Wait, what are you saying?
What's
your hand?
A blue, a Bonebreaker Bellow, a Beast Within, and a Blood Rush Bellow.
Yeah.
So you pitch the blue to play Bonebreaker and beat Chest with the Beast Within. So you intimidate. Beast Within triggers. You'll draw.
You get a card back from Beast Within.
Wait, you have this in your hand?
Yeah.
And then first thing you play is Blood Rush Bellow?
No, first thing you play is Bonebreaker Bellow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you play that and choose. So you can choose to discard Beast Within, and then you'll draw a new card. And then it doesn't mean you have to hope you draw a 6 off the top.
No, if you start with Blue Wrecker Romp, so you have the 6 there, then you just have to have something that you can pitch 1 for Blood Rush Bellow. That discards. You draw 2 more, and all of a sudden you're off to the races.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Having another 6 in backup.
Yeah,
to
this
discard.
seems a little Christmas landy. I mean, you know what I'm saying? It's just okay, maybe if all of that lines up, sure. But in general, if you don't have Berserk or Blood Rush Bellow already in your hand, then what is it?
But even from just being able to consciously discard a Beast Within on this, and
that's good. That's good.
Be able to have the Intimidate and also know you're getting a card back, I think is huge. It just feels in smaller situations where you're just man, I really can't afford to discard a Blood Rush Bellow here, or I need a buff and I can't afford to discard this blue or else my turn doesn't do anything. There are situations like that where I think this really starts to make things more viable for you.
Yeah, it starts to make it more consistent
Yeah.
for sure. But I don't. It's not like crazy in terms of what other people have.
It's also this card just has like a decent floor because it blocks 3.
I guess
And
it
if you don't beat chest, it's just a 1 for 3
I
pump.
guess it also intimidates if you're
Mhm.
Rhinar, and
Yeah.
that is
Yep.
pretty crazy.
And especially if there's other ways to beat chest. If you beat chest already and
Well,
then play
there's this one.
then it's just a 1 for 5.
Yeah.
Like if you can beat chest before playing the Bonebreaker
And
power.
I mean, I think that context is also important, you know, like in the context of Rhinar, you're beating chest. It's your first in a situation where you were trying to have a combo or finish a game or something like that. You want ways to intimidate all 4 cards, and that's your first step. It's giving you more damage. It's taking the first card out of their hand so you can get, play, Alpha Rampage and intimidate, 2 out of the remaining 3. And all of a sudden you're like having a really strong finishing.
Yeah, I mean, even just what was that card you were just looking at, Bryn? Rawhide Rumble. If you
So
can
if you pitch a blue,
play the pump, play the Bonebreaker, beat chest, discard a card, and then play Rawhide, and then you've intimidated twice and made it 11 power. And if you have barraging too, that might be like
wait, what's your hand? You've got red Bellow, red Rawhide, a blue, and then 1/6.
a 6 to discard.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you also we need a 5-card hand to like do barraging into that and then intimidate like 3 times.
Mhm.
But also I feel like
Well, you don't need to.
Yeah,
this,
and-
this intimidates too.
it's like it would already intimidate twice. And I feel
Twice
like
is good.
it seems like one of the issues Brute has is actually
Can't block it.
like spending big hands sometimes. It's like
Yeah.
the reason Brutes have to roll Scab Skin so much is like there's not enough like reliable go again. So you're just like, I gotta roll so I can have go again to like play a Savage Feast and then something else.
Not enough go again
Yeah.
yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But these
so-
are two commons. It's just it's so weird because we're in sort of. I mean, by the time this comes out, no. Next weekend, the weekend
Yeah.
after this episode comes out, we'll
Yeah.
be in spoiler season.
We'll be
But I
deep
just
in
want to say,
spoilers.
And
right?
every comment we've made about this set
But
will
no-
be invalidated.
We've been very tentative.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
we've been. The thing about it is like these are all of the brute cards we have.
Mhm.
Yeah. There's
It's
not a ton to go off for
3
Brute.
commons.
Yeah.
So it's like there's not enough to say how this will do in limited at all.
Yeah.
I feel fairly confident also saying we have not yet had the best brute card in the set revealed yet.
Well,
For sure, yeah.
Ethan has a legendary brute card, it seems.
Mm.
And everyone insists their shit is broken. You know,
Mhm.
like,
Yeah.
my spoiler card is the best card. But I
Yeah.
kind of believe him.
The Brute
He
Codex
seems-
of Frailty.
He keeps saying it like, this is crazy. Like,
Mhm.
this is absurd. And
Mhm.
I think it will be.
Yeah. Oh, also, this is a little off topic, but Bryn and me were talking last night about how Balance of Justice is replacing Crown of Providence as like the new EA gold foil you win for callings. So Bryn was like, "Oh, that means it's broken, right? Like it's gonna be really good if it's the card that you win for winning a calling." So we're getting some kind of new, probably generic armor that's gonna do something crazy.
Yeah, and Chris made an interesting point that it might be arms.
I was thinking arms
Like
or legs.
balance, or because we don't have a generic, like we have tunic and we have Crown of Providence, but we don't have like a generic arms or legs.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
That could be good. I have no idea what it could do.
Somewhere between Temper and Battle Worn.
But then also, does it buff something?
What is it? Balance.
If it's arms,
Yeah.
does it give you a
Ooh,
plus
what if it
one?
like does something to your life totals if they're different or something?
It babysits your kid while you go to an armory.
That's what we all need, don't
Mhm.
we, parents?
An attentive sitter in cardboard form.
The balance of justice. Your child will never fall off their high chair if they have that. They'll be looking like this guy, the starting stake guy.
Yes. We also let me put up the placeholders.
Oh yeah.
Speaking of like Christmassy lines, that starting state card with creepers in Runeblade seems like it could be nuts.
You do that and then play cash in.
Yeah.
And then you have a lightning.
Yeah,
Embodiment?
exactly.
Oh yeah.
It's like Briar is already going to LL and Blitz like the first weekend of the next skirmish season, but
Oh,
like
yeah.
if she didn't.
Make a gold. Yeah, you can just make 2 golds if you like have to go first. You're like, I'll play starting stake.
Yep.
That's
Interesting.
funny.
That is funny. It sounds fun.
We have. I just want to mention that right now we've seen 30 out of 60 Majestics. We've seen 0 legendaries.
There's 60 Majestics in the set. God, that's a lot.
That's right.
That's why Majestics are so expensive lately. You're trying to hit 1 out of 60 to hit the best cards.
It's a lot of them. But there are so many cards. There's 255 cards.
Mhm.
We've only seen 86. So there's a lot we haven't seen. But weirdly, there's only 3 expansion slot Majestics we haven't seen, which I find very weird. This is...
I don't find that super strange. I think that was sort of the case for Bright Lights too, where
like around 8.
They what do you want to bet 252 is a reprint of some sort?
I was wondering like what they might reprint. Like, is there stuff that still needs it?
That was sort of the slot at Dusk Till Dawn that they gave to Crown of Providence. It's what they gave to Tunic and Bright Lights. Like I feel like I don't know what they would reprint at this point, but
Wait, they reprinted Crown of Providence and Dusk Till Dawn?
Yeah.
Remember? The non-foil one.
Completely forgot about that.
We didn't need it, so we didn't care about it.
Yeah.
I have like 3 of them.
They could reprint maybe scab skins or something.
It's my favorite thing to do. It drives one of my friends crazy. You guys know this, but I have I played Dash a lot. I have a cold foil Achilles Accelerator, cold foil Adaptive Plating, cold foil Viziertronic, cold foil Heart of Tekla Foundry Heart, non-foil Crown of Providence every single time. Drives people insane.
It's the easiest one to get in cold foil out of all those cards.
Well, if it's any comfort, I don't give a shit what kind of cards you have. You can play whatever you like.
And that's what I respect about you.
It doesn't bother me at all. No skin off my nose. Not my cards. Not my problem. But this, yeah, I think was Tekla Foundry Heart reprint in the expansion slot? No, right?
No, that was
no.
that was in the first like 15 cards.
Yeah.
Right. So they reprinted Tunic and Evo. I don't know. Do they need to reprint anything right now? Is there anything like
I'm
crazy
trying to think
expensive?
what after
CNC
Tunic
again?
and Crown of Providence. I mean, CNC could be coming because like we know they're getting. There's like the CNC prize card, right? That they mail you if you win the leaderboard or whatever. So
true.
it's kind of hinting that it could be in the set. But
I think E-Strike is due for a reprint. I don't know if they would put it there.
Kind of
but
cheap though.
it's not as expensive as CNC.
It's like $30, right?
Yeah.
Sure.
But I mean, it is tough to get into the game and be like, I need to spend $90 on just this
Well,
card.
I
Yeah.
think you can whine about it. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
It was way more expensive when we got into the game.
Yeah, it was like $50.
Come on, I don't care. I want cards that are fucking from the first set that are some of the best cards they ever reprinted to stay like reasonably priced.
Sure.
Like it should still feel good to hit them. I think. I don't know.
Sure.
I don't think it's. I think having a little value in the cards is good.
So what you're saying is you're not team game piece.
No, it's not a living card game.
Yeah,
Like
I agree.
Legendary should be cost minimum
I
$50.
mean, living card games suck. It's like they always fail and no one cares about them.
Buy your Diadem of Dream States now while they're
Yeah.
$5.
Yeah.
Actually, don't play Illusionist. Illusionist sucks.
Illusionist is fine if you're into that kind of thing. It's okay.
We're not here to yuck anyone's yum.
I love
And boy,
yucking people's
Prism fans sure do like their yum.
You know, I was thinking about that phrase. I have no fucking idea what that means. How do you yuck anything? I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Everyone's like, I'm not trying to yuck anyone's yum. It's like, if you're yumming over something that's fucking insane, I'm going to tell you to stop. Do not do
Where
it
is your yum? Where is it located?
Wow. The
Do
hot
not-
takes finally coming out.
Do not do it in my house.
We're waiting till
Don't
the end of the
be
episode.
yumming
Everyone's
anywhere
logged off
near
by
me.
now.
You
Official
fucking
quote from
freak.
Bryn. Your yums are yucks.
Disgusting.
Very, very disrespectful.
That's how I
We
feel.
know what you're doing with that statue. No.
I know what you're doing with it.
Yeah.
I've been on the internet. I grew up on something awful. I've seen
God,
worse.
I hope James White watches this.
I know Brian does.
Does he? That's when.
He wouldn't admit it to my face,
Oh,
but
sure.
I bet he does.
Yeah.
He's
Why
always-
did he follow us?
Literally, he said to me on Twitter, he said, "I'm always watching."
Oh, yeah, that's true.
What's up, Brian? How you doing?
How you doing, buddy?
What's up, girl?
Come on the show.
Yeah, why not come on the show? That'd be fun.
We're big. I'm a big fan of Brian Gottlieb.
Brian's
by
great.
the way.
Come down to New York sometime.
Yeah, the Murderer's
love
Row,
to
as you
play.
called us.
Yeah.
Yeah, we are a good. I'm terrible compared to
You're
everybody
not
else.
terrible.
Yeah, well, whatever. Yeah, so what else is going on with this set? We got nothing else to talk about. Oh,
I mean,
we've got
Kasai's looking
Calling
good.
Hartford
Oh, yeah.
coming up soon.
Yeah.
And I'm very excited about that. I think the thing that I'm most excited about this set is the draft.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, we should leave it up for draft. The thing that's hard is to talk about with draft is just like we don't have any of the commons. Like, look at these huge amounts of numbers how much commons we don't have.
Reprinting 0 to 50.
Rares.
0 to 40. Nice and easy. I think
we've seen some commons that are really good too. Like, isn't Test of Agility a common?
we just
block
actually
card?
just saw a new art for Wrecker Romp.
Oh yeah,
that is for the Team Covenant promo.
Wild looking
So
art.
maybe they're reprinting Wrecker Rump.
I mean that would.
I think it makes sense.
that follows the logic. Like the last. Well,
Yeah,
yeah.
it follows.
because they don't want to print a new
was
blue
confusing
six.
Team Covenant with Star City. I was going to start listing their old promos and how they were all in the set, but I can't speak with any authority on.
Yeah.
What was
So, well, like the last for Dust Till Dawn, it was an Eloquence token for SCG, which ended up obviously being a token in the set.
Oh, and Hyperdrive.
Hyperdriver in the last set. Before that, they didn't have a promo card. They had a Flick Knives mat. So,
Yeah. The last Team Covenant promo before this one was the 0 to 60, I think, which wasn't
that's
in
right.
Bright
Yes.
Lights.
Yeah.
But I think Wrecker Rump just makes sense. If you're printing Rhinar, he needs a blue 6.
You gotta have one.
And they
Man.
can't make a new one, so they got to reprint that one.
How pretty is that purple 0 to 60? Am I right?
Oh,
fellas?
it's great.
Leave a comment in the chat talking about. Leave a comment in the comments, not in the chat, about how pretty the purple 0 to 60
Yeah.
is.
Now, what is it? It's a 0 to 60?
Yeah,
but it's different.
But it's purple.
yeah.
I
yeah, I
don't
wondered-
think I've seen this.
Citrick hasn't killed you with it before?
Killed me with it.
Yeah.
Citrick doesn't beat me.
Oh, no.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Yeah, where would you find it?
I don't know.
Team Covenant?
eBay would definitely show you. But
Yeah, it's cool looking.
yeah.
We'll look at it later.
Yep.
Mhm.
But apparently there's an alternate art that I haven't seen.
It's the
It's
same art.
purple.
It's just like the colors are different. It's
Yeah.
more purple and different looking.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
cool.
what is... Oh, Bigger Than Big is a common? That's a cool one.
Yeah.
Are the
Lots
pints?
of 3 for 7s and
Mhm.
5s. Pitching a lot of blues. I feel like you're gonna have to be pitching a lot of blues.
Oh, yeah. What if
Mhm.
like all the
So you're-
blues dry? I guess you really want your class blues is the thing.
You better get your fucking blues.
Got to get your blues early.
It
Yeah,
seems
I just-
really tough.
I realized my brain was going to Bright Lights mode where I was like, everyone's drafting from the same pool of mech blues, so how are you going to get enough blues for your deck? And I was like, oh yeah, it's back to a class
Yeah.
division.
Yeah, some you can't
Yeah.
pull.
Interesting.
Yeah. I don't know. I really want to see. I think. Well, this is too small. Philip, our dear friend Philip, hasn't put up the one-handed weapons that they've released, so I'm gonna have to go find them somewhere else.
Oh yeah, those qualities look.
Philip is
terrible.
currently sleeping this entire weekend in prep for the endurance trial he's about to experience in a week.
Yeah, I think he should take it a little slower at the spoiler seasons.
We don't. Well, a lot of people are relying on him. I
I
mean,
guess that's true.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
really wants to have people.
Well.
It is. Is it this one?
We applaud him for it.
Oh, of course we will.
Every new set that's come out for the last 3, I'm like, so did they? Because he gets them up instantly, and I'm like, so did they like give you some sort of advance notice on this? Did LSS like give you? And he's just like, nope, I just don't sleep much.
Yeah.
I'm just like, God, it's
crazy.
He's a strange.
Yeah.
Strange behavior.
There's
But-
I think there's like some collaboration where like other people help with the data entry
Yeah,
of him
yep.
and Tyler and everything.
Yeah, very much so.
Yes,
Trying to zoom in.
I'm trying to zoom
It is
in
not
on
a
these,
solo effort.
but
Yeah,
we
yeah.
do have 6 new weapons.
Oh yeah, some
Um,
of these weapons, 2 of these weapons are crazy.
Yeah.
One is called Ball Breaker, which is
Mhm.
cool.
Yeah.
That is one of the crazy ones.
That's the.
What's the text
So
on that
that
one?
is a rare.
That's
And the thing is like
if you've discarded a 6, it gets +1.
Right. It's one-handed
Romping Club. Yeah.
So
And
it's
it's a
two
two
for,
for-
it's a 2 for 3, and
Okay.
if you
It's Romping Bat.
Yeah, that is
Romping
crazy.
Bat.
It's just 1 power less than Romping Club for being one-handed.
Yep.
It's pretty good. That's quite powerful.
yes.
Need a brute shield.
Yeah.
Well, they have a generic shield.
Mhm.
You could get the oval.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Um,
Is Steelblade Buckler is Guardian, right?
It's Guardian.
Okay,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
but if you if you're KO, you can only have one of these.
Right. You need that or the
Um,
mini meat axe, which is a very funny name for a card. It's
but
just
wait,
like,
the Ball Breaker.
yeah. Go off.
It is just a Wrecker Romp, but it is rare. So
Romping Club.
what did I just say?
Wrecker Romp.
Yes, I always say anything with romp in it. I'm always
You wanna
saying
put
it's
your-
always
Yeah,
I
romp.
Wrecker
just
romp.
love a good romp.
I
It's
love
got a wreck.
romping. I
Yeah.
also say Reckless Swing is Wrecker Romp.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I
that makes
can't.
sense.
I can't do it. W's.
Those are
Fuck
like the
you.
only 2 brute cards I actually can differentiate. Every other brute card.
Folks, Bryn is illiterate. No, I'm just
That's correct. All
Yeah.
those books, haven't read a single one of them. I don't know how.
Yeah. No, I think everyone has a class or 2 where it's just like the cards melt off their
Yep.
brain. I know for
Yep.
Bryn it's ninja. For me, for some reason, it's brute. I love brute, but it's like every card I'm like, is this savage this or is it this savage thing or is it a romp or
Everything's
I don't know.
savage.
yeah.
But
You know what
Ball
I'm-
Breaker and Meat Axe and Miller's Grindstone and Hot Streak. Almost all of these are. Wait, I think. Parry Blade, Hot Streak, Miller's Grindstone, Mini Meat Axe, and Ball Break are all rare. So these are all draftable, but also hard to draft.
Yeah.
Like you probably won't see these too often.
Rare. It's weird because it's like rares are hard to draft, but if it's actually like everyone's drafting their seat and there's like 2 or 3 warriors, someone might open it and then just pass it to you. Like if you're you're in Brute, person to your left is in Guardian, and you open a Parry Blade, you're like, oh, a warrior might be happy to get this.
But also, I feel like Ball Breaker is good, and I feel like Hot Streak is good, and the rest of these I don't even know that I would prioritize.
Yeah, Parry Blade is sick.
Parry Blade seems like it's like for a warrior mirror. It's and even then it's sort of like you can use this to block their weapon once if you're pretty sure you can win on the next turn.
I'm sorry. Sure. The Mill Hammer I would also prioritize.
Yeah, that would be good. That just like be Victor, or maybe even be Betsy and just try to mill people.
Yeah,
is definitely powerful. It depends what the tokens are, to be honest. Like I'm really curious. I really am. That's like one of the pieces of the puzzle I'm most excited for is just like when you sit down at Sealed to play whoever, like what tokens.
What do you know you're getting?
What are you getting as a sip?
Yep.
I hope they don't
sip.
reprint an Anothos.
Me neither. That'd be really. I'd love to play Guardian with an Anothos, but it seems too powerful.
That seems completely counter to all of their strategy for building a limited set, going back to Bright Lights and Outsiders.
It would just be way too consistently value.
Yeah. But we know that they are reprinting Centauri Sabers.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Do you hope they reprint Wrecker, the goddamn
Romping Club?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Do you think that'll happen?
It seems like it's harder to use double claws for Rhinar if claws are the token.
I can't imagine claws being the token. That's
Romping Club is also really good,
crazy,
because that's a WTR weapon, and it's like
think about this. Yeah. Azuri is 2 for 1s.
Yeah.
This would be 2 for 3s.
Yeah.
That could have go again on easily, because you can just like beat chest and then you have go again.
You can do one of the agility cards or whatever. Yeah, but
I don't know.
Centauri Sabers are 1 for 2 that has the Bolton effect always. If you block with an attack, it gets +1. So that's a pretty efficient weapon. I think it's just like maybe Romping Club could fit if everyone has like a decent weapon, because you won't win just with your weapon because everyone has one. That's good.
Hot take. Based on Bright Lights, I think we're getting specialization weapons for
the tokens.
If not all, then most of the new heroes.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So they can't.
So 6 more token weapons.
Like everyone has a spec.
Centauri Sabers will be Kasai's, right?
Oh right, those aren't a spec.
So everyone besides her.
Yeah.
So then 5 more token weapons.
Yeah.
And then I hope we get a legendary weapon. What if we got a legendary generic weapon?
Pretty cool.
You know what I really want to see? A tri-class card. Like the fabled or like a legendary that's like
that'd be sweet.
Did you just invent generics?
No, not generic.
Just 3 classes.
Just the 3 classes
Warrior
that
Guardian.
are in the set.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah.
I think that would be cool.
It'd be fun.
They did bring up a universal, which is a really cool idea.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, that's a
fun.
super cool idea.
That's one of my favorite things in the set is the universal card, which we didn't talk about.
A generic you can run in mech.
Yeah. This is a 3 for 7 that is a fine off boost, or it makes a rune chant if you play it.
Yeah, in Viserai. And a gold for Royal Viserai. Royal Viz is back, baby.
No, Royal doesn't matter. You just need to have
cash in your deck.
Cash in your deck.
Yeah, that's true.
So you can do it twice.
Yeah.
You got another gold.
You do run 3 cash-ins usually, so it's helpful.
If I just realized if you're Jerome or Prism and you run this, you can't use it as a popper, right?
It's not a popper if you're an illusionist. Yeah, it's pretty funny.
Get wrecked.
Hilarious.
Eat shit. Rest in piss.
L plus ratio plus molding.
All my homies hate illusionists. Okay, so Heavy Hitters is very exciting. We will be going to Calling Hartford this coming end of the month, a couple weeks from now.
This coming in a few weeks.
This coming
in a few weeks.
First
weekend in February.
I'm going to Los Angeles. I'm going to miss my hometown pre-release days. I'm going to try to go to at least one while I'm in LA for work.
I'm excited to find out how soft the field is in LA versus.
Well, I know Uber Shouts might be going to one I'm going to.
Oh yeah,
so
he has a big warrior head.
I
right?
can't wait to beat him.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know,
I don't
but
know.
I'm sure it'll be fun to meet those that community. Last time I went to LA, there wasn't much.
Mhm.
It was a couple of years ago, and like couple places had armories, but they're pretty small, and it seems like now there's a lot of new ones, so that's very exciting. The game is growing.
I thought it was
I
a dead
know-
game though.
I know our friend
Who said
Liam
that?
was just out there over Christmas, and he went to an armory, I believe, in Pasadena, and said he had a really good time, and that he was pleasantly surprised at like the level of play. And
Oh, did he crush or did he lose?
I don't know. He did. I don't remember him saying. I assume he won because Liam wins everything.
Liam's very good.
He wins a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, so gonna go out there, do a pre-release there, hopefully at least one, and then immediately come back and go to Calling Hartford, which I'm very excited about. And then we're all going to Pro Tour
Mm-hmm.
in LA again.
You're going back
so
to
I'm going
LA.
back to LA. I'm gonna be in LA a lot this year.
I'm also going back and forth to LA 3 times, or sorry,
Really?
twice in the next 3 months. I have a work thing in, well, it's Palm Springs, but close enough.
That's close. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, that counts.
Yeah, and then back for Portugal, LA. So
Nice.
Very exciting.
So we'll see you if you're in LA. Say hi. If you're in the Discord, say hello. Hang out, play some games with us. I'm very excited for this year in Flesh and Blood. I think we're off to an extremely cool start with heavy hitters, and I can't wait to see what happens next. In terms of planning for the next couple of shows, we didn't apologize for being late because why would we at this point? But
we are sorry.
it's been the winter. We all get sick.
Yeah. It was Christmas and kind of a dead period for a while anyway, so it was like hard to come back and do an episode.
Yeah, this
Yeah,
show is sort of about news and rambling about news, but we have a new project that we're working on. Look for it in the coming months.
Mm-hmm.
A new, fun, more consistent thing that doesn't have to do with the news.
Mm-hmm.
It is not the lore thing, not the lore idea I
Oh,
had.
yeah, that's
we're
also
not
a fun
doing
idea.
that. We're doing something else, and hopefully it'll be really fun.
And now a complete list of all the things it will not be.
It will not be a cosplay corner. It will not be.
We just started pining on people's cosplays. Like, Carolina's cosplay at this time, it was terrible. It was basic. I didn't care for it.
Just dragging her to Phil.
Based on what? I don't know.
No, yeah, it's not Flesh and Blood drag race.
Yeah.
But why isn't it that?
That's a great question. I'll have to think about that. I'll search my soul for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, but we'll be back soon. If not with an episode with something new and exciting to announce.
Mm-hmm.
But thanks so much for listening. Please go to twitter.com and follow us all. We said them at the beginning, but it's Banish Zone, Blue Plunder Run, _Sitrick. And go to the YouTube. If you're watching this on YouTube, please subscribe, comment.
We're almost at 200, I think.
Call
Get a
David a
few.
cuck.
If you've made it this far in the episode, leave in the comments calling me a cuck.
It's
Do
a
it.
sex thing for him.
We did a stream earlier.
Yeah.
I said to do that.
It
Nobody
makes him
did
very
it.
happy.
Yeah.
Do
Makes
it.
it happen. It brings him good luck at the calling. He wants to be called the cuck so he can win
He
the
wants
calling.
to be the luck cuck.
If you've made it this far in the episode, mention
luck cuck.
40 pounds of ice cold pancake batter. All right?
Yes, and being chilling.
Bing chili.
Thanks so much for listening, everybody. Forget how to get out of here. But until next time, you are banished.
You're banished.